October 13, 2025. NASA issues a warning. The interstellar object 3E Atlas is now closer to Earth than ever before. What started as a routine comet discovery became a global shock when new 3Y/Atlas images, captured as it swept past Mars just days ago, revealed geometric patterns and tail behavior no natural object should display. Hubble and Webb confirmed it. Sharp angles, grid-like formations, and a tail twisting against the solar wind. The evidence shattered every expectation about what's possible in deep space. If these images are real, the questions they raise challenge the foundation of everything we think we know about alien technology. And what happens next could change our future forever. So what is 3E Atlas, and what exactly is it doing here? On July 1, 2025, the Atlas Survey telescope in Rio Hurtado, Chile, flagged a faint object moving fast against the background stars. Its trajectory didn't fit any known comet or asteroid. Within hours, pre-discovery images surfaced from Caltech's Zwicky Transient Facility, stretching the observation arc back to June 14th. The Minor Planet Center ran the numbers. Every calculation pointed to a hyperbolic orbit, an open path, not bound to the Sun. 3E Atlas. Only the third confirmed interstellar object ever seen, after 1I, Oumuamua, and 2I, Borisov. Confirmation came quickly. The European Space Agency's Mars Express and ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter caught the object during its closed pass by Mars on October 3rd, each camera capturing a faint coma but no solid nucleus. The James Webb Space Telescope, operating in the infrared, locked on next. Its deep field exposures matched the ground-based astrometry. Same position, same motion, same speed. Hubble's Wide-Field Camera 3 followed up with ultraviolet and visible light data, verifying the object's brightness and coma shape. Pan-STARRS and the global Atlas network kept a constant watch from Earth, feeding in fresh coordinates every night. A senior instrument scientist from the Webb team reviewed the cross-registered data. No discrepancies, no instrument glitches. "We're looking at a genuine interstellar visitor," she said. "The trajectory's clean. The coma's real. This is not a software artifact." With every observatory in agreement, the astronomical community set aside doubts. This was not a fluke, not a misidentified asteroid, not a ghost in the system. 3E Atlas had arrived from beyond the solar system, and every sensor in orbit or on the ground was now trained on its approach. The stage was set for what would become the most scrutinized interstellar object in history. Geometric symmetry. Unlike any known comet or asteroid, 3E Atlas displayed sharp, repeating angular forms hidden deep within its tail, parallel lines that ran like scaffolding, intersecting at nearly perfect right angles. The first enhanced images, from the James Webb Space Telescope, revealed a faint lattice, too regular to dismiss as noise. Hubble's ultraviolet exposures, taken just days later, confirmed the same pattern. A grid, etched in the haze, persistent across exposures and wavelengths. Ground-based telescopes working in concert traced the lines as they shifted with the object's rotation, yet never lost their shape. Normally, a comet's tail is chaos, filaments of dust and gas whipped away from the sun, bending under solar wind and radiation pressure. But 3E Atlas broke the script. Its tail didn't stream outward in a smooth arc. Instead, it twisted back on itself, folding in rigid mechanical sweeps as if following instructions from within. The angles held, the bends snapped sharp, and the tail's edge drew near straight boundaries, impossible for natural outgassing alone. Some researchers tried to blame the instruments, artifacts from pixel grids, diffraction spikes, even cosmic rays. But the evidence didn't budge. 3 independent observatories, separated by continents and orbits, saw the same lines, the same grid, the same unnatural order. A senior analyst from Pan-STARRS called it a blueprint, not a plume. If this were just a trick of light, it would be the most elaborate ever staged by the universe. But the tail's rigid geometry and mechanical twists pointed to something else. a structure, a mechanism, or a message hiding in plain sight. The boundary between natural and engineered had blurred, and the world's best instruments could only stare back, recording patterns that shouldn't exist. At the center of 3E Atlas, where astronomers expected to find a rocky or icy core, the data revealed only darkness, a void that swallowed every wavelength thrown at it. No reflected sunlight, no thermal signature, not even the faintest glimmer from ultraviolet to radio. The Webb team's director, speaking at a midnight press briefing, described it as a hole in the spectrum, not a shadow. But this emptiness was anything but silent. Instruments at Mauna Kea, tuned for faint infrared, detected a pulse, steady, unwavering, every 11.2 seconds. Each time the void flashed, background starlight bent and twisted, warping into spirals and arcs that defied gravitational lensing. The distortions didn't match the object's mass. They didn't match any known physics at all. Hubble's data confirmed the effect. Stars behind the core appeared to split, double, and recombine in sync with the pulse. On the ground, observatory computers flagged the readings as errors, but the pattern repeated across continents and telescopes. The director's measurements showed the starlight shift reached as much as 0.07 arcseconds, far beyond what a comet's coma could cause. No natural process explained this. No dust, no gas, no magnetic field strong enough. The regularity of the pulse, the precision of the timing, and the magnitude of the distortion left only questions. Was the void a kind of chamber, a machine, or something stranger? An aperture into physics, not yet written? The heartbeat of 3E Atlas echoed across the sky, every 11.2 seconds, a silent metronome no one could decode. Photonic emissions. The term sounds clinical, but the reality left data analysts at a loss for words. When ground-based spectrographs and the Webb telescope's MIRI instrument captured the void's pulse, the spectrum didn't resemble thermal radiation or scattered sunlight. Instead, it registered as a razor-thin spike, narrow band, precise, and consistent across every 11.2-second interval. The intensity climbed steadily, each pulse brighter than the last, as if the core was ramping up. A signal analyst from the SETI Institute, brought in for an independent review, ran the numbers on the pulse spacing. The intervals weren't random. They matched a sequence: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, prime numbers, encoded in the timing between microbursts within the main pulse. Statistical tests ruled out instrument error. The odds of a natural process producing such a pattern fell below 1 in a billion. Further scrutiny revealed the pulses weren't just periodic, they were modulated. Subtle shifts in the photonic output formed a repeating grid when plotted over time, each peak separated by mathematically perfect intervals. The analyst described it as a beacon, not a flare. Other observatories joined in, confirming the signature from different longitudes and wavelengths. The result? A global triangulation of a signal that seemed engineered to be seen, but not easily understood. The emissions didn't scatter like comet dust or fade with distance. Instead, they cut through background noise, persistent and deliberate. If this were a comet, it would be the first to transmit a message in light. If this were a machine, the message was unmistakable. Someone, or something, was counting primes in the dark, waiting for an answer. Trajectory data from NASA's Deep Space Network arrived in the early hours of October 13th. The numbers didn't fit any known model for cometary motion. Over a 14-hour interval, the object's path shifted by 0.19 degrees. An adjustment that, at interplanetary scale, meant a lateral movement of millions of kilometers. All tracking stations from Mauna Kea to La Silla confirmed the same anomaly. The orbital fitters at JPL recalculated the solution 3 times, subtracting every known source of error: solar wind, radiation pressure, gravitational nudge from Mars. The residuals remained. There was no plausible natural force, left to explain the deviation. Unlike the random jets that sometimes nudge comets off course, this movement was linear, crisp, and perfectly timed. The direction of the shift was not arbitrary. It brought 3 Atlas into near alignment with Earth's orbital plane, a maneuver that would require either immense luck or precise control. The Minor Planet Center's public bulletin listed the new trajectory with a note: non-gravitational acceleration detected. Source: undetermined. Orbital mechanics textbooks describe how outgassing can push a comet, but the efficiency is terrible. Jets of vapor produce erratic, tumbling changes, not a single, smooth arc. If this were natural, it would make 3 Atlas the most efficient comet in history. But the data didn't show the telltale brightening or asymmetric coma that comes with a violent outburst. Instead, the coma's brightness curve remained steady, and the geometric tail held its impossible pattern. The object's new path intersected a solar conjunction window, a period when it would be hidden behind the sun from Earth's perspective. The timing was exact, as if plotted on a mission board. For the first time, the question of intent wasn't just whispered in late-night data calls. It was written in the numbers. The cosmos, usually ruled by chaos, had delivered a move that looked deliberate. The world's astronomers stared at the updated ephemeris, and for a moment, the line between observer and observed felt razor-thin. Solar conjunction. For 23 days, 3 Atlas vanished behind the sun, unreachable by any telescope on Earth or in orbit. The blackout left astronomers with nothing but predictions. No images, no spectra, only a growing sense of unease as the object's trajectory placed it in the deepest part of the sun's glare. When the window finally reopened, the first frames to slip through didn't come from official channels. An imaging technician, anonymous, risking career and clearance, forwarded compressed data sets to civilian researchers. The files, time-stamped and cross-checked against observatory logs, told a story no one expected. The object had changed. Photometric measurements, run through 3 independent reduction pipelines, showed a jump in effective cross-section, 40% larger than before conjunction. The coma's brightness alone couldn't account for it. The core region, previously a featureless void, now outlined a sharper, more complex boundary. Embedded in the new images were 3 fainter sources, each trailing in perfect formation, spaced at equal angular intervals across a line perpendicular to the main axis. The geometry held over multiple exposures, ruling out cosmic ray hits or random noise. Formation analysis using centroid mapping and synthetic aperture photometry revealed the companions kept a constant separation. No drift, no random walk, just a symmetrical pattern that defied natural fragmentation. The main body's surface brightness profile, once smooth, now showed stepped plateaus, as if panels or modules had unfolded outward. The whistleblower's metadata included a note: no matching artifacts in calibration frames. This anomalous seems real. Within hours, the leak spread across encrypted forums and amateur networks. Official observatories stayed silent, but the data spoke for itself. 3 Atlas had not simply survived its passage behind the sun. It had grown, multiplied, and returned with company. The implications, technological, existential, hung in the air, waiting for a response. The memo arrived at NASA headquarters just after midnight, stamped with a red border and the words "Priority National Security Object, effective immediately. All high-resolution imaging, spectral data, and trajectory models related to 3 Atlas were classified under Title 10, Section 130 of the U.S. Code. Access required Tier 4 clearance or higher. The chain of custody for raw instrument files was rerouted. No more automatic uploads to public servers. No more open Slack channels between observatories. Even routine press briefings were canceled, replaced by terse statements vetted through the Office of Space Policy. Internal logs show that data packets from the James Webb Space Telescope and Hubble were intercepted at the relay, with checksum verifications now performed by a joint panel including NASA, the Department of Defense, and Space Force liaisons. One Hubble technician, flagged for attempting to forward calibration frames to a university collaborator, received a direct warning from security. The language was clinical. Any unauthorized dissemination will be prosecuted under the Espionage Act. The message was clear. Whatever 3E Atlas was, it had moved beyond science. Silence became the new protocol, and every keystroke was now a risk. By October 13th, the world's attention had narrowed to a single point in the sky. The first trading day after the leak, global markets convulsed. Defense stocks spiked, then crashed. The S&P 500 fell nearly 4% by noon, only to rebound on rumors of a government briefing. Cryptocurrency, untethered from any nation's assurance, surged as investors scrambled for shelter from uncertainty. News tickers cycled between breathless updates and official denials, while hashtags like #AtlasSignal and #AlienBlueprint trended across continents. In boardrooms and on trading floors, the question wasn't whether the object was natural or engineered, but how to price the unknown. Elon Musk posted a single line, "We're not alone, but are we ready?" prompting a cascade of speculation and emergency meetings at SpaceX. Donald Trump weighed in hours later, calling it the biggest cover-up since Roswell, and demanding full disclosure. The comments ricocheted through cable news and social media, deepening the sense of fracture. Scientists, once united in pursuit, split into rival camps. Some called for transparency and open data, insisting the signals were a message. Others urged silence, warning that any response could be reckless. The debate spilled onto live broadcasts, fueling a storm of public anxiety. For a brief moment, the world's attention, hopes, and fears orbited a silent, pulsing point far beyond the reach of any government or market. On October 13th, 2025, 3E Atlas came closer to Earth than ever before, just 10 days after its Mars flyby, and the release of images showing geometric patterns confirmed by NASA, Hubble, and James Webb. High-resolution data revealed repeating angular shapes, a void core emitting precise 11.2-second infrared pulses, and a tail that defied known comet behavior. Multiple observatories documented deliberate trajectory shifts of 0.19 degrees in just 14 hours and the object's 40% size increase after solar conjunction. Despite these facts, key data remains classified. Official memos list 3E Atlas as a priority national security object, while public statements offer few answers. The origin, purpose, and technology of the object are still unknown. What is clear? 3E Atlas is active, intelligent, and its presence continues to challenge every scientific model. As governments restrict access and debate intensifies, the world now faces an interstellar phenomenon that cannot be explained or ignored.